Hey everyone, so back to the React videos. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to add a single component to your page, which is going to serve as the basis for our whole application. Last time, we set up this webpack.config.js, this babelrc, and this entry point to our application. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go into that entry point, and we're going to make a component. So we're going to import a member of React called component, and class app extends component. So a component is actually a class, and it has a number of life cycles that we're going to go through, but right now we're just going to start with a really simple component. Every component should have this specially named method called render. And what you do in render is you return the actual HTML that they are going to see on the page. So instead of doing console.log hello, we are going to make a h1 on the page that says hello. Alright, and now it's important also that you do this class name instead of class, because we're still technically in JavaScript, so class is a reserved word, and that's why it's class name. Anyway, so now we have what's going to be our basic component, and all it's going to do is it's going to make a div with this h1 in it. Now you're probably wondering, okay, well, we have that, but how do I get it on the actual page? And for that, we need to add another dependency. Actually, React and React.DOM. I remember that last lesson I actually did save dev on React. You want to do save on React. And now we have these two. So we're going to go back in here. We're going to import render from React.DOM, which is going to enable us to take this component and render it on the page. The only problem is, right now, the second parameter of this should be where on the page it is going to be mounted. And ideally we want to do something like this, where we get an element by an ID and tell it to mount there. The only problem is that div is not on the page yet, because we generated an HTML file with the HTML Webpack plugin. There's actually a quick solution, and what we're going to do is we're going to edit a file called index.tpl.html. What this allows us to do is make our own template, which is going to be formatted by the Webpack HTML plugin. So here we can provide a title, maybe React Tutorials. And then here we can do div ID equals root. And you see that is where the mount point was defined, on right here. The only problem is our Webpack HTML plugin does not currently know that it needs to take that template. So we can pass it a second option called template. And that's going to be at path.join dir name, which is the current directory, client, index.tpl.html. There we go. Then we go in the dist folder again, and we open the index.html file, and look at that. So this is a pretty short lesson, but we're going to go into more detail about how the components actually work together and how a component goes through its life cycle. So, see you next lesson.